Okay, 5th grade, today we are going to start our lesson on 3-3 on estimating products on pages 68 and 69. So get your books out and open, and spirals open to your next clean page, and let's get our heading on there. And today our objective is I can estimate products. Okay, so starting at the top of page 68, it says, how can you estimate products? They start us with the question. A store needs to take in at least $15,000 in sales per month to make a profit. If the store is open every day in March and takes in an average of $525 per day, will the store make a profit in March? Okay, so that is our question there, and then they give you the picture of the calendar that you're going to need. So it says you can use rounding to estimate, top of page 69. Okay, so now they have $525 rounds to 500, and 31 rounds to 30. So they want you to find 30 times 500. Okay, and so they break it down there, 30 times 500. Again, what are the single digits there? 3 and 5. What's 3 times 5? 15. And then you go back and add and count your zeros to get us 15,000. Now go to the top of the right there where it says, both numbers used to estimate were less than the actual numbers. So 15,000 is an underestimate. So the store will actually take in more than 15,000. So the store will make a profit in March. Okay, so let's go and let's get this example copied down in our notes. So it says, how can you estimate products? One way to estimate is by using rounding. So they want us to find $525 times 31 using rounding. So here again, we go and we find the number in the greatest place and underline it and look to the right. 2 tells us to round which way? Down, good, which means that 5 stays the same. So now I have 500, and these two numbers obviously go to zeros because they're whole numbers, times 31. If we rounded 31, 30 rounds to what? 30, good. So now we have 500 times 30. And again, we go and point out our basic fact, which is 5 times 3. What's 5 times 3? 15. I'm going to put my dollar sign in there right away. Then I go back and I count my zeros. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put my comma, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so our answer, our estimate is $15,000. The second part, what they talked about now, it says check to see if the answer is an underestimate or an overestimate. An underestimate, and this is highlighted in your text, is when both numbers used to estimate were less than the actual numbers. So let's look back up here. 525, we rounded to 500. Is that more or less than 525? It's less. 31, we rounded to 30. Is 30 more or less than 31? It's less. So both of those numbers were rounded down, so this becomes what type of estimate? An underestimate. Good. Okay. Our next one here, we're going to go to page 68. It says another example. How can you use compatible numbers to estimate products? And they give the problem. It says estimate 24 times 39. It says you can also use compatible numbers to estimate products. So it's easy to find 25 times 40 since 25 and 40 are compatible numbers. Remember that 25 times 4 equals 100. So 25 times 40 is going to equal 1,000. And 1,000 is a good estimate for 24 times 39. Okay, so that's our second example. And then here it says both numbers used to estimate were greater than the actual numbers. So 1,000 is an overestimate. Okay, now let's go ahead and go to our notes here. Okay, it says how can you use compatible numbers to estimate the products? We just read through on the textbook. It says find 24 times 39. And our first step would be to find the compatible numbers. So it's easy to find 25 times 40 because we know 25 times 4 equals 100. So then 25 times 40 is going to give us 1,000. Okay, so again, we want to check to see if it's an underestimate or an overestimate. When we use the compatible numbers, this was 24, we changed to 25, so that's higher. 39, we made 40, that's higher. So since both of the numbers were higher, it's called an overestimate. estimate. All right, good job, 5th grade. If you have a question on estimating using rounding or compatible numbers, write it down. Or if you're still a little confused on underestimate or the overestimate, go ahead and write that question down for me. Okay, we are going to jump into now the guided practice. It says, do you know how? In 1 and 2, estimate by using rounding. And then tell if your estimate is an overestimate or an underestimate. Okay, so number 1 here, we have